back to my channel and welcome if you're new. I'm Sky and I'm so happy that you're here for this one. This video is a Trader Joe's Fall Favorites Baking Edition. So we're not going into this store. I actually did that in my last video that I posted here on YouTube and just kind of walked you through and shared some of my favorites with the camera. But in this video, we're taking those favorites and we are going to be doing some baking and then cooking as well. So I am going to bake 3 to 4 boxed treats with y'all that I got from Trader Joe's. They are all so simple to recreate, so no fear if you don't have a local store near you. Of course, you can find recipes and dupes and whatnot online, but these are all so delicious. We have been baking and cooking over the course of the last couple of days to fit everything in. I don't know about y'all, but I cannot be in the kitchen from morning to night, so had to split it up, but it worked out perfectly because I have had my parents in town for the last like 10 days. So we got to enjoy some pumpkin pancakes with some maple bourbon syrup on them. We made some of these really yummy like gingery pumpkin chocolate chunk cookies that we got to enjoy. Today I baked a cinnamon blondie or cinnamon swirl blondie deliciousness that you'll see shortly. Also some pumpkin bread. And then at the very end of the video, you're gonna get to see our just absolute favorite, hands down, staple meal that we love to cook during the fall. Truly year round, but during the fall is when you find these ingredients. So it's a chicken sausage that is apple flavored. It has little apple chunks in it. Then we are going to roast some baked cinnamon apples and cook some really cute little pumpkin pasta and then whip up a quick little maple drizzle to go over it. And it's so good. It's perfect for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. And we just love it in our home, so we thought that we would share it with all of you. So I hope that you find this video just fun to watch and enjoyable, and I also hope that it inspires you to spend a little bit of time in your kitchen this fall. Alrighty friends, let's jump right in. On this day, Theo Bug, our 6-year-old, was in his jammies and had decided he wanted to help out Chad, so they made some pumpkin pancakes for the whole fam. My parents were here and it was a super sweet time. If you notice Theo's overalls, he was Farmer John in a really cute Chicken Little play at school this past week, and so he was just loving those overalls and wore them for like 5 days straight. As y'all will see throughout this video, we are using our caraway pots and pans. They are our go-to. They are the only thing that we cook with. We love them so much because they're non-toxic and they're so easy to clean. What do we think? Did you buy them again?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Do you like the syrup?
Yeah, it's the bourbon's mild. It doesn't like punch through or anything, but it's good.
Moving on to our second recipe. These are pumpkin chocolate chunk oatmeal cookies. That is a mouthful. They are to die for. I kind of go into the flavors that really stick out in this cookie towards the end, and I feel like that would be helpful to know ahead of time because there's some flavor in there that I just wasn't expecting, but turns out I loved. So these ones are just chewy, gooey goodness. Make sure you don't over bake them, but they're really, really good. So if you have a Trader Joe's local to you, I would highly recommend picking these ones up. You may notice that I am cooking or baking on a table here in the center of the kitchen. And this is something new to this space. It's actually something we've had for several months from a dear friend who was selling it. I love this table so much. It's beautiful. It just so happens to match our new chairs in the living room and the Caraway pots and pans that we use. But ultimately it was just too big. So I did utilize it for this video. You'll see that we actually ended up painting it as well, just to see if lightening it up made it seem smaller and feel like less of just this big thing in the center of the room. But ultimately we decided to go with something smaller that I found at our antique mall, and you'll get to see a sneak peek of that at the end of today's video. Let's do it. They're so good. Full of flavor. Definitely have like a distinct ginger taste to them. Kind of remind me of a mix between like a pumpkin cookie and like a gingerbread cookie. Mm-hmm. With the best chocolate chunks ever. I always take my cookies out a little bit early because we like them gooey. These are so good. I honestly liked it. Okay, so this is our favorite recipe right now as a family. We love this during the fall time. And I'm just gonna kind of give you the rundown. It is just something that we kind of made up on the fly, and all the ingredients are from Trader Joe's. However, I believe you could just find all of these ingredients at a different grocery store if you don't have a Trader Joe's nearby. So the first thing you're going to do is grab a handful of apples. I think I used maybe 4 or 5, and I just diced them into 1-ish inch pieces. Then I put them in a baking dish. I poured a couple tablespoons of melted butter on them, sprinkled some cinnamon and some brown sugar. So I do not measure when I make this recipe. I just kind of do it to looks. I've made it probably 10 or 12 times now, and not all this season. We made it last year too, and I've never not loved it. So each time has probably been just a little bit different. I did actually run out of cinnamon on this day, so I would have added more cinnamon to mine, but unfortunately we were out. So I am just boiling my pasta. I follow the directions that are on the bag, and then I have cut up 1.5 packages of the apple sausage. Just do as much as you need. If you're feeding 2 people, obviously you'd make this recipe a lot smaller, but we love it and eat a lot of it, so I tend to make a little bit more. Now, I just love the ease of this. I drain my pasta, and then once my meat is browned and the apples have roasted, I keep them in the oven at like 350 for about 20 minutes and just kind of poke them, and once they get soft, that's when I take them out. Then I just mix everything together. I add in some butter that is melted. I add in some maple syrup, and typically would add in more cinnamon at this point, but again, I ran out this day. Y'all, that is it. It is truly so simple. I will list the recipe here for y'all to screenshot if you'd like, but again, I'm so sorry. I am someone who likes to follow measurements when I'm making an unfamiliar recipe, but I haven't done that. I just like to play around with it each time. So this is such a good one. If you guys give it a try, let me know in the comments below. Chad's getting first dibs. Everybody else is downstairs watching a movie, and he's gonna get a try.
Maybe. So good. It's my absolute favorite. Fall favorite. Bond. James Bond. Synthesis. That's how you say it.
Here's a look at the table painted. Chad just sprayed it for me outside. Just 2 coats, and I do love that it looks a little bit more blended in and doesn't stand out quite so much. But as much as I just really wanted it to work, it's truly too big. So haven't decided yet if we're just going to resell it or if we are going to use it down in our basement. We have a little eat-in like kitchenette area for guests when they stay with us, so we may end up using it there. Now we're going to bake the last 2 things that are going to be featured in this video today. We have some pumpkin bread and then also a really delicious cinnamon bar mix. So I am really excited to share these, but while we are kind of on the topic of the table in the kitchen, you can just kind of see even in this video how handy it is to have something just centrally located in the kitchen to be able to do some baking on. And when I'm not using it, I can set my fruit bowl there or a couple of little decorative pieces. So it's not really in the way and it's super functional, and I feel like it really completes the space. So don't forget to stay tuned till the end of this video so that you can see what we ended up putting here. I am a huge fan of recipe kits that come together like this with everything pre-measured and ready to go. So this kit comes with your base, and then they also have a package for the cinnamon swirl that you're gonna add, and then they also have a separate package for your icing. And all you have to do to the icing is just add a little bit of water and stir. Honestly, just the ease of this was incredible. It would be something great to do with kids because it's already kind of pre-portioned and measured, and I don't know, my kids mostly love the stirring part, so this is just something great to do with younger kids. I think that for this portion of the recipe, I need to just cover the screen with send help because I always struggle with icing and frosting. I think that my icing is a little too thick, but I ended up just going the baggy route. I feel like that's like a no-fail way to go. And although she may not be pretty, she did taste very, very good. Okay friends, my morning of baking is done. We have pumpkin bread and then our cinnamon blondie deliciousness is here. So I just want you guys to like see how good this is. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'm actually gonna start with dessert first. Oh, it tastes like a coffee cake. Okay, that's dangerous. That is dangerous. That is delicious, y'all. I love the chunks of the buttery cinnamon that we added in throughout and then swirled it together because you get just like a chunk of that. Oh, this one is so good. I am going to have to put some coffee on so that I can finish that because that's gonna pair really well with coffee. Now, I'll say one thing about the pumpkin bread. I typically I wouldn't say under bake, but I err on the lesser side of the time frame that's usually given, the window of time, whether it's like 22 to 24 minutes, I'll do 22 or maybe even 20, because we really like moist bread instead of like dried out. I let this go a couple minutes too long. So I did add some butter to the top, but I can feel that the edges are a little crispier than I would typically want them to be. But it's still good.
This is so good.
Which one is your favorite?
Haven't even tried it.
Oh, you haven't even tried that one yet? Oh, it's so good. That one? What do you like about it?
It has frosting, it has chocolate, it has peanut. Does it have peanut butter?
No peanut butter.
No peanut butter.
Cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
That's so tasty, isn't it? It's so good.
So good, tasty.
Was that a fun treat to come home to today?
Yes. The texture is also really good.
What do you mean by texture?
The flavor. And it's really soft and it's hard on the crust, but really good. It's delicious.
Which one's your favorite? Do you have a favorite?
This one and this one.
You like the bread and the cinnamon cake?
The pumpkin one is
so good because it tastes like a cinnamon roll.
Theo says it tastes like a cinnamon roll.
It does.
It does?
You made the bestest one of these.
Oh, thanks, sis. Okay, friends, so here is the kitchen island. I got this at the depot at Gibson Mill. Shared it in my last video. If you ended up spotting it, it was actually like one of the very first booths as you walk into the depot. And there's kind of a funny backstory. I'll try to keep it short and sweet, but essentially a couple of months ago, Chad and I had been at the depot together looking for the perfect dining room table, and I couldn't find it. But this table was one that we just stopped by, and it caught our eye. But the leaves, unfortunately, were bowed, they weren't level, and just realistically didn't make sense for a dining room table. So we passed, and some time went on, and then just a little bit ago, I went back to the depot and took my parents there and spotted it again. This time it was actually in a different booth. So one of the booth owners purchased it from a different vendor and decided to sell it in their booth. Anyway, I still didn't get it when I saw it with my parents because I just didn't even think like if I had a spot for it. And then I was editing my last video, and it caught my eye again. And I just all of a sudden had this thought, wait, I don't have to use the leaves. It could be perfect for our kitchen. And it was shorter by a few inches on both sides compared to the last table that we just had in here at the beginning of this video. So it was the perfect fit. It ties in perfectly with our just kind of natural colored fireplace and just some of the other natural wood elements we have in our home. So I am loving it. Okay, my friends, I am going to wrap this video up here, but I want to give a quick recap of all the things that we baked in this one and kind of just share what I would purchase again and what I would skip on next time. So honestly, I would buy everything except for the pumpkin bread and muffin mix. And the reason being is that I just have a pumpkin muffin mix that I just love so much, and I shared in a previous video. I'll link it down below if you missed it. I shared my favorite apple crumble recipe and then a 1 bowl vegan pumpkin muffin recipe. And to me, those are much more flavorful. They're more moist. I like the texture of them and just the overall flavor. And you can make that into a pumpkin loaf if you wanted to. So I'm gonna pass on that next time. It wasn't that it was bad. It just wasn't my favorite when I had something else to compare it to. I highly recommend the cinnamon coffee cake. Look at this chunk of cinnamon sugar buttery deliciousness. I just honestly can't. It's so delicious. And I'm pairing it with some coffee. I actually need to get a refill, but the flavor is just unmatched. It's very moist. I hate that word, but when it comes to food, I love to use it. I would definitely recommend the pancake mix again. So easy, tastes amazing. My whole family had them and loved them. I'm trying to think what else we did. Of course, our favorite fall like harvest recipe. So good, and that will be on repeat. I have stocked up on the little pumpkin pasta. I think I have like 5 bags just hiding away in my pantry because there's something about the flavor and texture of those that I just really love. And next up is my very first Christmas video of the season. Y'all, I cannot contain my excitement. I won't go into it now, but just the short little version is that this is our first year in 3 years without having house and home to basically have to jumpstart every season. I mean, we're starting kind of like decorating and preparing for fall in July, and for Christmas at the very beginning of October, if not end of September. And this year, we've just been able to take a breather and just enjoy this season, and I'm so thankful for that. So we're not going to rush into decorating for Christmas. I'm planning on doing that at the beginning of November, but we're going to do some shopping. We're going to do a planning video as usual. We'll go through what I already have, what I'm going to get rid of this year, and what I'm going to be looking for. So similar to fall in that sense, but I just can't wait. So I hope that y'all will stay tuned, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, friends.